my fellow gods and goddesses, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and today we are doing my favorite authors of 2019. So this is actually a really fun video for me to make because I remember specifically during my booktube newbie tag, which I guess I can link up above if you want to see me being very awkward in front of a camera. Anyways, I mentioned in that video that I don't really have favorite authors. In the past, I usually just read one book or one series from that author and I don't really think to pick up anything else from them. But now I really wanted to see, okay, well, which writing styles and which authors do I really connect with their work? And so these are all authors that I discovered in 2019 that I thought were the highlights of my year. It's not a strict list, but it's better than I had previously where I couldn't even tell you who my favorite authors were in any capacity aside from Rick Riordan. I also want to say that for some of these authors, and I think most of the authors I haven't read more works by them. I am just basing it off of one book of theirs I've read or one series I've read by them, which again kind of leads that this isn't a strict list. I'm giving a lot of disclaimers before even getting into this video, so let's just forget it and go on. This list is going to be in no particular order, so let's just get into it. And the first book I have to talk about, or the first author I have to talk about, is Renee Ahdieh, and I read The Beautiful by her this year. She has such beautiful and lyrical prose, but it's not purpley enough to make you not understand what she's saying. Because I find that, at least with me, I love beautifully described things. I love when an author is able to take me into their story with their prose in a way where I can imagine the aesthetics and the atmosphere and just the beauty of the words itself. But that being said, I still don't want to not know what's happening, and I think Renee Ahdieh does a beautiful job just in the between realm. She just says things in a very beautiful way, but I still know what she's saying. Hopefully that makes sense. One of my absolute favorite things about books, and often my favorite books, have a great atmosphere in them. And Renee Ahdieh is able to create that atmosphere with her words, with her prose, and I just really enjoyed that. The next author I have to talk about is Neal Shusterman, who wrote the Arc of the Scythe trilogy, which I finished this year. This is the second book, Thunderhead. I love Neal Shusterman's intellect. That is my main thing that I just admire about him. He is able to present such interesting ideas that could very well be tangible to real life and present day, because he primarily writes dystopian, I think. I know he has this series, he has his Unwind series, which I've heard isn't all that great, but I think that was one of his earlier works, so, you know, that's to be expected. But he's just so smart. He really is. The philosophical debates, specifically in the Arc of the Scythe trilogy, where it talks about humanity and the importance of mortality and what happens when nobody dies, and the horrors of contentment and just stagnation. It was so well done. Also discussions about like AI in here. I am just so excited to see what he puts out next now that this series is over. I am going to be enjoying his books for a very long time, I anticipate, and I am going to be admiring his mind from afar for many years to come. Next author, you guys would have never heard of before, never mentioned, we don't know her, I didn't know her until this very moment, so gear up and get ready to have your life changed. Leigh Bardugo. who is the author of the Grisha trilogy and Six of Crows duology, and now Ninth House. I discovered Leigh Bardugo this year. I read the Grisha trilogy and I read Six of Crows. I have yet to read Crooked Kingdom at the time of filming this video, but I do plan on doing that hopefully before the year is out. But kind of not, because I don't want to threaten my end of the year list that I've already written up, and I fear that Crooked Kingdom would just mess everything up. But that's a tangent that we're not going to talk about today. And you guys know who Leigh Bardugo is. I don't really have to describe why I really love her as an author, because she is so popular here in the book community. The reasons that I really love her is for, again, why many people love her, and that is her character development and her character arcs. She is so good at developing characters, and not only developing characters as their own entity, but also developing character relationships and how those characters interact with one another. She does banter so well. She is so good at character banter and just showing the little shits that her characters are with each other. I really loved reading her bodies of work this year. I had such a fun time both with the Grisha trilogy and with Six of Crows. I do not think that the Grisha trilogy is bad as much as everybody seems to shit on that series, but when I read it, I really just could not understand the amount of hatred so many people have for that series. I think she developed such a beautiful world with the Grisha universe. For a YA series, I think it's one of the most interesting worlds that I have read about in a while. I think every single character she creates has a very big personality. I mean, probably my most hated book character comes from her series, and to create such vile and horrible person takes skill. It really does. I also think she's so good at packing a punch with her quotes. She is a beautiful writer in general. Aside from her character, she just has a really great prose. But I don't love her enough to read another goddamn Dark Academia book. So Ninth House is never going to be read by me. I'm sorry to disappoint, but we're not revisiting that beast ever again. Alright, so I didn't have this list ranked, but these next two authors are definitely my top two. Looking at them, they are actually quite similar in why I love them, so it's no surprise. My second favorite author of 2019 goes to Mary H.K. Choi, who is the author of Emergency Contact and Permanent Record. Emergency Contact is my favorite, so that's why I'm holding her. And Mary H.K. Choi is absolutely incredible at showing realistic new adults. Her books are definitely new adult, and just that is what my age range is right now. So of course I'm going to connect so much to the characters. She has such a fun and satirical humor to her. I absolutely adore what she has written thus far, and I've actually read both of her books because she's only written 2 books so far, so I can safely say that both of them are great. She is such a fantastic author in a sense that she tends to write these slice of life themes and plots, and usually I would say absolutely no to slice of life. That just sounds super boring to me, especially because I'm such a high fantasy kind of person, but the fact that she can create these plot lines that are seemingly very realistic and oftentimes boring in my opinion, but she's able to make me invested in the story and the characters where I'm not bored at all. If you love Casey McQuiston and Red Wine Royal Blue, you definitely should check out Mary H.K. Choi, because she doesn't do it exactly the same as Casey, but those vibes and that type of humor is definitely seen in her books. She's just a great author and I love her so much, and this book is just so incredible, and so is Permanent Record, and I just love everything about her, and I thank Monty every single time I think of Mary H.K. Choi, because I would not have picked her up without his recommendation. And now my number one author of 2019 hands down has to be Katie Henry. I absolutely loved her. I fell in love with her writing and her stories this year. I hope you guys don't mind repetition, because you guys are going to be seeing these very similar patterns throughout these end of the year videos. She is my favorite YA contemporary author, period. I say it time and time again, but Katie Henry just writes teenagers in the most realistic way that I've ever read about. She just knows how teenagers think. She knows how they talk to each other. She knows how they experience emotions. She is able to validate them in their emotions because she doesn't belittle them. She doesn't push them to the side. She doesn't criticize them for their stupidity that they always do. She still gives them such autonomy and power and growth. She just does it right. I love both of the books that she has written. She has written Heretics Anonymous and Let's Call It a Doomsday. And in addition to the way in which she writes teenagers, she's just funny. Katie Henry is just a funny person. She has the best humor in her books that I've ever read about. I laugh out loud every single time I read her books. And she's also funny on Twitter. I'm so excited to just constantly read her and love her as the years goes on. Alright you guys, that is it for this video. Please let me know down below who your favorite author of 2019 was, regardless of if they are a new author or an old author. Just let me know so I can check out their work if I haven't prior. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out on this channel, and you don't want to miss all of the videos I will be posting in the last 2 weeks of December. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!